Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, ladies of your view.
Excellent morning, Mariah.
Hi, dear Maria.
Fine, thank you. I was just saying that I had seen that The View in America just did its 5,000th episode, and they were also giving a shout out to the creator of the show, Barbara Walters, and I was just saying with Mariah that in many years to come, when she's an old lady, we'll be doing the same. Say, oh, thank you, Mariah, for making us part of your legacy. You have started something. So
we also retired some years ago, and Whoopi Goldberg took over from her. So it would be great to retire at some point.
Do you imagine sometimes like the crop of young ladies that would
taking
be
over
here
from this show
many years to come?
Yeah, it's really nice. I would really like to hand this show over at some point. To be a great legacy to do that.
She was really old.
Yeah, she was really old.
Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry, please.
At some point, I'd like the show to continue. Of course. Generations. And let people know that, yes, there's a platform for where women get to express themselves. And to never die. That would be a really great thing. How you doing, Obiajilu?
I'm doing amazing and grateful.
Yeah, the website plan, they shine today.
No, we did. I think in the spirit. We connected in the spirit.
I was just like, thank God I didn't.
As usual, how you doing?
I'm good. So tomorrow, my daughter will be having their exit day, where we go pick her up, spend the day with her, and return her before 6 p.m.
Oh, they have that now in boarding
Yes, they do that.
Exit day.
Exit day. So the siblings are excited about it. Mommy, when are we going? I said, don't worry, we'll leave the house very early.
Where do you guys take her to?
We'll just find, there's this new place my husband discovered. I've forgotten the name of the place. They play a lot of games there. It's more like a Disney.
An arcade, okay, like an
Is
amusement
that
park.
the arcade at Lekki?
No.
Okay.
Is it an arcade?
Yeah, so
It's like the
no, it's
Disney.
an arcade. Oh, okay.
It's like Disney, actually. I've forgotten the name. It's a very big place. Yes,
Oh,
it's a very
okay.
big. So he discovered it and said, okay, probably we'll try it
I
out
like the way she says
tomorrow.
he discovered. You know how Americans came and discovered Africa? People were not there before. People discovered it.
Discovered it.
How you doing, Tokwe?
I'm very good.
And how was
Excellence in Leadership Conference 2019. So that was I said that like almost 50 years yesterday. I'm like, welcome to Excellence in Leadership Conference 2019. And you don't have to like bring in the energy. I always just like platforms that will help me learn and grow. And sometimes I like, these are things you know, but you hear it again and it seems like it's coming afresh.
Yeah, it sinks.
And maybe, it's consistent hearing, you'll be able to act on some of them because life and stress would pull out some of this wisdom away from you. So keep being in a place where you get watered. So XELC for me is a place where I get watered every year. So now I'm like, no matter how tired, just read, because everybody keeps saying read. It can't be rocket science. It's just read. Read books that would expand your mind, no matter how tired you are.
It's not easy, Tokwe.
I'm telling myself.
I try. I really try. I have stacked up. And I'm thinking, how do I just get... I started but I never finish it.
But you're even going
thing.
to school now. You're in a space where you're reading, and working towards a cause. But when you have your free time, just pick something and
There's
read.
no free time. That's the thing.
There's never any free
We need
time.
to make out the free time.
Your
out
children
of
need
the
time.
no time.
The kids need time.
Yeah, so it was like sleepy eye. I just read a few chapters, and I think that it's just a few chapters. In the morning, a few chapters. In the evening, a few chapters. Whenever you can, social media scrolling time, squeeze in a few chapters.
Do you watch movies?
The secret to long success is in reading. So
but not anymore.
But you don't have time.
I don't have that time to sit down 2 hours. What? Because
there are many things to
my
be
kids are constantly looking for attention, and
Mommy this, mommy that.
guys
Mommy
also
this.
need attention.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Back to school this
Yeah,
weekend.
this whole month I'm back to back. I'm trying to get my hair done. I haven't had time. My hairdresser is calling me can I come tomorrow? I said no, you can't come.
No time.
Tomorrow I don't have time. So I'm moving to Sunday, and I hope Sunday I'll have time. So I'm going to try to steal some time because I have a test tomorrow.
Oh,
so I need to really.
Are you ready?
I mean, study small, but I need to do the, we always do the last minute thing. So I need to study today. Anyway, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the top stories in the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Pains, gains of land border closure by LCCI and Customs. AGF EFCC disagree over assets recovery. Education health top Sawolu's 1 trillion naira 2020 budget. Ex-pension chief Mena on wheelchair. 10 Fed killed in Ife, Ibadan, multiple crashes. government recovers 200 billion naira in final forfeiture. I'm excited that Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State is going to be investing a lot of money in education and health, because he's saying it's not just about building structures, which is great, but this 2020 budget is going to have a lot of money. I think double, based on what the article was saying, double of what they had last year.
Wow.
Likely to be double of each.
That is
for health.
fantastic.
That's forward thinking.
As in, these are two industries that
everybody has abandoned.
Yes.
Yeah, so
it's very
I'm pretty
important.
happy for him for that.
But beyond putting infrastructure for education, can we improve the curriculum to be more contemporary for the educational sector? Yeah. That would be good too.
And
The accident.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this was a very terrible accident. Happened along the Ife-Ibadan Expressway, involving a truck and a petrol tanker and two articulated trucks. According to an eyewitness saying that the trucks had already gotten, the articulated trucks had already gotten into an accident before a bus, a commercial bus ran into them, and plus the petrol tanker, they all blew up in flames, and about 10 persons died.
A lot of people actually had 20, so maybe the numbers are not.
The nation said 10 persons. Our hearts go out to them. We should just try as much as possible to be careful on the roads out there.
The Punch. Fuel sales suspension. Nupeng Pengasin back federal government border residents fume. The fume concerning the border. Sorry, let me take that again. Nupeng Pengasin back federal government and border residents fume. That's about the border filling stations used as conduits for smuggling, says Union. 8 feared killed in Edo, call to war. Herdsmen kills sibling for having affair with wife. FG fixes promotion exam dates for prospective PEMSEX. Osun may offer airports to private operators and woos investors. We're still at work, no sack letter, says Osinbajo's aides. Minimum wage states negotiation must end by December 31st, says Labour. DSS holds Showore despite receiving release warrants. Okay, let's start with the major headline. This fuel sales suspension. The customs were saying that they're going to stop the sale of fuel to any petrol station 20 kilometers around the borders.
Yes.
Pengasin agreed with them, Nupeng agreed with them. However, Ipman was saying that that was wrong, that the petrol stations within that area were given licenses and they should be allowed to trade. And the customer is saying that it's being used as a conduit for smuggling of our petrol. So that's why they're closing.
Yeah, but and then, you know, and it does make sense to me, because they say that the fuel stations around the border communities, not the border communities, along those
20 kilometers.
Yes, the 20 kilometers mile radius, they have a lot more than in the community.
Yes.
So who are they servicing?
Selling
People in the
those
community.
Yeah, but
So
they are businesses that were legitimately licensed. They have made huge investments. You shut them down, you cripple their businesses without any plan of refunding them. We can't do policies like that.
But if those businesses are known to be
working against the economy,
are doing illegal business, if they're smuggling,
I believe the
then they should be
legitimate way to
closed.
do is to catch them and prosecute them. Don't blanket and put stop all businesses within that place because you believe that they are carrying out.
You can
yes.
No, they deal with each person that you catch guilty. Don't just stop all businesses from money. We make these policies. As a business person, you just change policy. I'm stuck.
Yeah,
I have bills. I have loan. I've borrowed money. Then what will I do?
Don't you think we need drastic measures sometimes?
Yes,
because
we
people
do.
are smuggling our fuel
I believe
out of our
That's why
country.
people want to invest in Nigeria. People are carrying their money out because policy changes in a minute.
They also found out that a lot more filling stations are opening with this closure.
Who is permitting them? Who is giving them permission?
As
Okay,
well?
let's
So
take one more story.
Yes.
Showore was not released, or who has Herdsman's story?
Yes. So this particular headsman is in custody at the moment. His name is Ilyasu. He's being tried for allegedly killing his brother for sleeping with his wife. So he found out that they were having an affair. He spoke to his brother several times. In fact, the wife had a child, a 3-year-old, which the brother confessed that it's actually his own child and not the man's child. But then he killed him and ran away. But secret investigations found out that he was the one who used the machete on him. And so he's remanded in court.
Moving on to another story, it's very disheartening that DSS have refused to release Showore, even though the courts have said that he has met all his
bail
conditions. So on what basis are they still
They've been
holding
doing
him?
that many times. This government has been doing that for a long time. So I'm not surprised about this.
They did that with Dasuki.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's on what justification that he wants to cripple the government or he wants to turn down. let's just
The trial
live
will
by the
also-
rule of law. You can't build a country
So
and
they
you are
don't obey the
disobeying.
court orders. So how do the regular citizens obey a court order if the whole DSS doesn't obey court
Yes,
orders?
even Falana is complaining that they're supposed to be preparing for his defense for the trial in December,
can't even
but then
say.
he can't even have access to him.
Okay, Daily Sun, Awo's grandson, ex-governor Ajimobi's daughter, among sacked vice president's aides. Lawyers, foreign government agencies slowing down corruption fight. Nigeria at crossroads, says Yoruba Elders Council. Enugu Airport mobilizes contractor to site, reveals aviation minister. Okay, so the major headline, vice president's aides.
Yeah, so the aides, of course, we read the story about 35 of the aides that work with the vice president have been sacked. But the story is that they were actually meant to be redeployed. Most of them had been working with the social investment program. They were meant to be redeployed to the new ministries that were created. But when they got there, instead, they found out that there were no vacancies. But also, if you look at the story, yeah, so but if you look at the story in the Punch took that it spoke to about two aides of the vice president, and they denied that they were sacked. They said they still resume work, that they have heard and read as well, but they have not, it hasn't affected them.
But Daily Sun went ahead to bring out the list of
which is
all
good.
those who actually
Because
were
somebody
affected.
was throwing jabs at that social media people are just making noise. Where is what they should list the names of those that have been affected. So, now we have a list. But maritime workers, this are the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, are saying that they are going to go on a nationwide strike because their staff, members of this team, are being stressed, their life put in danger because of the slow pace of work going on the Lagos-Apapa Expressway and Tinkan Island. Say this is from the President General, Adewale Adeyoju. And I feel that this is not just for them alone. This is everybody that works in that axis. They have to find another way. The pace of work in Oshodi is extremely slow, which causes a huge... People spend their lives and they're dying. So whatever, we should listen to them. We also we shouldn't blame the presidential task force, that there are many other people not doing their job that is causing this. So can you list the people not doing their job that is making life difficult for us?
Quickly, good news for Enugu State. So the airport is about to, the contractors have been mobilized. They're about to start work. The 10 billion has been released, and they're appealing to, the Minister of Aviation is appealing to the residents around to be patient by 2020 in Easter.
Okay, let's move on very quickly to Vanguard. VIX reactions chill sack of Ashibaju's 35 aides. Let's find a story we haven't talked about. Kolade Emir Sanusi disagree over gender equity. Reps challenges Fashola to 90-day road travel tour. FG suspends fuel supply to stations at land borders. PNID supply scam. Court grants Britain Nolan 500 million naira bail. So, Honorable Minister Fashola, who has that story?
Yes, I have the story. So this House of Representatives member Bamidele Salam has challenged Honorable Minister of Works, saying that you can't just say, because he has repeated the statement that the roads are not as bad as we are making it out to be, that you can't just travel by air and know what is really going on with the citizens. So you should have a 90-day challenge. Every minister should go by road. Yes, and even the leaders as well should go by road so that they are in tune with what the people are going through. And I think it's a good thing. It's a good where the shoes, so you know how the
minister, as much as we know that you have made this statement, but please, maybe for the next 90 days, we'd like you to adopt this challenge.
By air,
Don't go by air. Go on the roads and take pictures.
Yes, and show us.
I am working now. Can't you see? Then we believe you.
PNID scam.
Yeah,
PNID. Really sad. So we found the person, the British national, James Nolan, who was said to be the one involved in the controversial sale. He was arrested and has been in court, and now they've granted him bail in sum of 500 million naira. Wow. He's supposed to bring a shorty, a 7 senator that has no criminal court case. The person would put the sum entirely down and bring his passport and all of that. I'm waiting to see if they would release this person, because if we're trying to fight corruption and protect our nation, we must put up a strong front. If you don't release Dasuki and you don't release Showore, and then you release someone who's been found capable of costing Nigeria a whole lot of money, let's see how serious the government is in fighting corruption. Okay,
moving on to Daily Trust. Picture here of Batch C Stream NYSC 2019 core members engaged in a tug of war. And it seems like they just handed plus size ladies, and they seem to be pretty strong.
Stronger.
Yeah, they're pretty strong. Why customs ban fuel supply to border with communities? We talked about that already. 70 soldiers on trial over cowardice, says Borno. And investigation, border closure bites harder on rice textile shops in Benin Republic. So why are these 70 soldiers on trial?
Yeah, so these 70 soldiers are on are being court-martialed, and their offences: cowardice, absconding from duty, indiscipline, among others. And the military is saying that the world over is known for the military world over is known for maintenance of discipline and decorum while discharging duty. So it does not really say much more beyond that, but a lot of people are of the opinion that most of these soldiers have problems, have complained, you know, about problems with their welfare. And so that could also account for a lot of the indiscipline or decorum that is.
They carried out mutiny. You know, there was a protest by soldiers.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yes.
So we don't know if those are part, if they are going to be
protest.
part of it, but people are asking that because, okay, it also said that the court-martial can be appealed. So it's like getting a...
Okay, we have to wrap up very quickly. Let's just take this last paper. Nigerian Tribune, let's pick a story that we haven't talked about. Yellow fever outbreaks, claims 29 in Bauchi. Anti-corruption, federal government recovers 200 billion naira in final forfeiture. And Mena appears in court in a wheelchair for bail application. Who has the yellow fever outbreak? Who has that
Yes,
story?
I do. So the chairman of the Bauchi State Primary Healthcare Development Agency is saying that they've had about 224 outbreak of yellow fever, and 29 people have been confirmed dead. So they are still working on. They've been able to give about 500 vaccines, remaining about 600 people to go. And they are saying that the 600,000. No, not
500,000 vaccines.
Vaccines already, and 600 to go. So they are saying that the people in the environment should not reject the vaccines. You know, sometimes they go to some communities and they don't understand what
control does.
What it
because
is.
sometimes, every time there's an outbreak, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We're not preventing.
We're just reacting all the time.
And it costs more money to do that, though.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take.
Does it prevent or does it help to
Research.
curtail the
Research helps you to
Research.
prevent.
spread?
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we just found out our celebrity gets cancelled today, so we're gisting all the way. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we found some pictures online about members of the dreaded cult group donating iron shelter to traffic police. What do you make of this relationship between the Nigerian police and the so-called cult group? You can join the conversation on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So some people say that, some people claim that Nigeria is like a banana republic. Things just, anything happens, anything goes, things just go crazy.
I call it anyhowness.
Anyhowness, yes. And so when a dreaded cult group donates, now the truth is, do these policemen need this shelter? The answer is yes.
Yes, they do.
Now, unfortunately, if it's the cult group that is providing its shelter, should they accept it? That's a moral question. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it was the right thing for them to do or right thing for them to accept in the first place? Let me let Mariam jump in.
Okay, so first of all, I looked at the pictures. I don't know if they'll be showing on the screen. So the shelters are the little thing that traffic wardens would stay under to protect them from the sun or rain. And on it, it says, NBM of Africa Worldwide says no to fraudulent practices, drinking and driving, humanitarian traffic, you know, and xenophobia. So it's also passing a message, you know, against violence, racism, and drugs. So that's very good on the one hand. Then, but on the other hand, about the cult group, are we allowed to say the name of the cult group? Or is that...
It's out in the open.
Okay, so the Axe, I think they call them Black Axe or something. That's this particular cult group. So at first, you know, just looking at the story, it's like definitely no, you don't take things from people who are trying to correct. But we have sat down with some people from other confraternities. I mean, we had one who came here and talked to us about the origin of that society. And also what we may have now is the abuse of that organization.
So we are the ones who are misjudging them.
Yes. So I'm looking at it from, okay, maybe this is the core group, the original group. who have come together really to fight things like this in our society, but there's been an abuse. And maybe this is also a way of cleaning their image up and saying this is what we truly represent. What you have seen and heard over the years is not part of us, and we're maybe trying to separate ourselves from them. And that is the only way I can see that the police would want to associate with them, because if I believe that our police would not associate with them if they were strictly people who were involved in nefarious activities.
So I read that it's a new black movement and they are legally registered. They are a registered organization. So I believe that for them to be registered, you know, with the government, there's something good that's going on there. But what we should be looking at more is, you know, it's like somebody is hungry and then you see someone coming to give you food. Do you first of all ask, are you a criminal? Should I collect this before collecting the food? You first of all feed yourself. Now the police needs this, and unfortunately for them, the government hasn't provided it. The issue is these people have not been proscribed now, yes, as a terrorist group or whatever it is. They are still within their legal rights for the fact that they are already registered with the government. So when a crime happens and we get the people involved in the crime, prosecution can now go on. Okay. But let's not just misjudge and mislabel.
We're talking about this because obviously on social media, people were making also comments with both sides of the divide. People say, how can they collect this thing from black eyes? But others, you're now saying that maybe it's actually the group, that the original group that actually planned to be role models in society. But let me come to you, Tokwe.
Black axe is black axe. Black axe is black axe. And like at the end of the day, when we have a group that has been tied consistently for many years to killings, initiation process that involves killings, that involves beating, and we're not trying to save face. Because the interview we saw that day, for me, it was like we're trying to save face and give a positive spin to something that has been given a negative name. The police can't be found associated with such a group, because imagine a young person that is that they're trying to initiate sees that kind of shelter. The person will sit and feel like, if the police is staying in the shelter and collected the shelter from Black Axe, then I can join Black Axe without knowing that is whether he is joining the good or the bad form. We can't separate good or bad of Black Axe yet. That's the fact. Whenever we see of all these cults, it is that there is a lot of bloodshed and violence around them. Why would the police be associated with such, when you are supposed to uphold what is right and what is right and true? It is already sending a bad message to the young people. I do not agree with it. I support all the social media people that are raking for it. I am joining them to rake against the police for doing this. We don't want mixed messages.
Totally agree with you, however, but in a situation whereby we don't have, the police actually are in need.
They need it.
Now, aside from just the shelters, there are other things that people provide for police officers. Their daily welfare needs. You see families bringing food to them in the stations. If you go, have you been to a police station recently?
Right. Because if we say we need, right, and based on the fact that we need and we're hungry, we will take anything that is being thrown at us. At the program yesterday, somebody was, Joaba was saying that one of the things that any individual must protect is their name. The police already were battling with trying to have belief and hope in the police that these people would protect us and help us. And then you're not associating with such people. It's not helping your character at all.
So I do not say anything wrong with what they have done because of course, what I'd already explained. But I do not agree with the fact that you should take things just because you need it and just from anyone. And I do not want to believe that our police would sacrifice integrity and all that the institution stands for just because they need those shelters. I mean, anybody can do that, those 2 shelters. But I want to believe, again, I just want to reiterate it, that our police must have done its due diligence. It must have been working with a set of people who are known to have some form of integrity or well-standing citizens in our society.
But maybe this group actually helps the police in some ways.
Yeah, it's very possible.
It's very possible. These are
like I remember
alliances that the police might need for other to.
I remember when I was in the university, we used to have this anti-cult group, which most of them were members of the cult group that changed, and then they were recruited by the school to help fish out. They know where these boys are. They know where they are hiding and all of that. So it's very possible that they are working hand in hand.
Hassan, Mr. Hassan, thanks for calling.
May God bless you.
Amen.
May God bless you. May God bless you.
Amen.
Look, you see, Albert Einstein said something. Country is so bad because of people who do bad things. But because of people who saw it, I refuse to say anything. I'm disappointed in some of your people today. Mariam,
He called me
maybe
Mariam.
you are afraid of these guys. Look, call them by their name. No modification, please. Because what you are seeing now is an intrusion of elitism into this issue. Whatever elites are doing, we see it as legit. It's wrong. By giving a policeman a shelter, indirectly you are even advertising them. You are advertising them. Because anybody passing by will take them to be legitimate association organization. Please,
They are registered, sir.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go on a quick break. We're going to come back. We'll take more tweets and then stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we still have Vincent on the phone. Are you still there, sir?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, cultism is everywhere, and this one is registered by the government. That is legalized. The other day, University of Lagos brought in MPO Normal to come and talk to people about transportation, and it was not laudable. Everybody allowed them. But this set of cultists that we tend or name them, they've been blacklisted, they've been bastardized by our society because of the name cults. But lots of them are doing well in our society. Lots of them are CEOs of organizations.
Yeah.
Lots of them are meaningful Nigerians that even when members that are complaining about them know that they are part of this group, while they were in school or outside school, they will say, oh, really? So you are a member of this cult, this particular sect. Be it as it may, cultism is not a bad thing. It's just another thing to champion or channel your ideas.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you for your thoughts, because many of us know lots of notable people that are parts of these fraternities. Now, I remember this gentleman, the kidnapper, Wadume. Remember, yes, he's a kidnapper, but remember his community members. They said that he actually built boreholes. He helped the families. He was like a community leader for them. They did not know his job as a kidnapper. But when, even after he was arrested, they said this man was a good man. The fact that, yes, regardless of what he has done, for him, for them, for that community, he was actually giving back to the community. So I don't want to connect it so much with this, but in a related way, somewhat. Yes, this group may have been bastardized. However, the original intention might actually have been.
So, Mariah, let me just jump in there. I don't agree with the comparison because for Wadume, from the core of him is a kidnapper, it's a criminal. Yes. But we're talking about this group that the core of them, the original reason that they were created was to do good, and it brought about abuse. So it happens, you know, with a lot of things. Even we talk about, just, you know, recently we're talking about the places we now call torture houses. People would give you history and say these things were acceptable and they were even done for free to help children.
The original
but
intention.
Now it's been abused. So we understand the abuse. And I get talked about, which is, well, many of us only know them from the abuse status that they have. Many of us know them because of what, from bloodletting and things like that. But should we now then take away the rights of those who are good to make a difference to society?
So, at the core of this is the fact that these confraternities, you can tell that your sweet story to that woman whose only child, seeking brotherhood, joined a fraternity or confraternity and lost his life. I took a story on Tuesday about what was happening in a university where they killed 10 people, some 200 level, some 500 level students, based on two cult clash. These confraternities trying to prove supremacy. We see it happen day in, day out. People are dying based on this. So we cannot sugarcoat the reality on ground in that people join these groups thinking that we are going to have an association of brethren that would help me, and they are made to do things that are inhuman. And so whatever it is that they've done good, they must overdo the good to outshine the bad, and the bad is in our faces. So
okay, let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'd like to support completely on this matter.
Okay.
Perception counts. So when we are doing good, we can see as bad if it's not properly communicated. Today's youth are very confused about what is right or wrong. The moral compass is a bit of a concern to me. So I think it is inappropriate for the state to use its own organ to promote a confrontality that hasn't cleansed itself inside. We know, I went to university here, and we know a lot of bad news about black hats and all those other cults that could. So first thing is they should work on their own image. Do more services to correct their system. Let them be seen
Isn't that what they're trying to do?
to be involved in doing good acts and not using right on the back of us when you bastard image of a police to project what is right. Otherwise, people will think that during those calls, it's fine because police is supporting them. I support it completely. You are my G at this moment. Thank you. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much.
So I would like us not to assume that the police does not know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Because these people are registered under the government. That's one. Two, it could also be that this is more like a form of collaboration. We want to get into the minds of these young people. And we know you as the leaders. If anything goes wrong, we can hold you accountable. You can be able to go there and tell your boys that this is not, this bloodletting and this killing is not why we are here. Most of the people who do all of this are more like the foot soldiers, the very uneducated ones who are on the streets doing the killing. The very intelligent ones who are heading these organizations, you don't find them in this among these things. So it could be like they are trying to cleanse the whole system and change, go back to the original intention. That is how I see it.
And I hear everybody saying, well, they have to clean up their image. Then you have to let them do it.
Do the cleaning.
Because if in trying to clean up their image, you're now coming at them. We had the other one that came and said they had a talk and they had great minds coming to have talks with young people. So these are people making the steps to clean up their image.
Give them a
so
chance.
We should give them that chance. Yeah. I understand the perception, but we're trying to change the perception. Or they are trying to change the perception.
Omo Bolanwo Bab says, black acts as an association with bloodletting. It sends very wrong message to the youngsters. Youth may see nothing wrong with joining cult group if the police could fraternize with same. Sometimes some things are noble but not ideal. Ideality should always prevail here. White Lion says, honestly, nothing wrong with philanthropic work, but hope it's not the same case with the issue of kidnapping with the North that was alleged to be settling some soldiers and got the police killed after his capture.
Oyindamala is asking me and Mary, I say, can you attend a church built by a registered pimp, runs babe or Yahoo guy?
Ayimoro says it's not a bad idea at all. The cult itself is a registered body under the law of our government. The cults have its aim and objectives to benefit its brotherhood, and their gruesome activity is cantankerous enough to frown at.
So
and that
we've heard both sides. You choose which you believe. Both sides actually do have points. But let's move on to another story. An American rapper, T.I., revealed recently that he still monitors his 18-year-old daughter's virginity. This has generated mixed reactions online. What do you make of this? Is it a good style of parenting? Is it necessary, especially in the 21st century? Please join the conversation. Call us on 070-806-6814. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, abroad, 18 is an adult. I remember from 18 years old, my brother told me, Auntie, start paying phone bills. I mean, after my birthday, did the celebration. Said, okay, the phone bill is now your responsibility. So as an adult, why would you be checking an adult's virginity? I don't know if that's right.
I think it's all shades of wrong.
Okay.
To take a child through that process of checking the virginity, that even tells me in the first place.
Let's clarify to viewers that don't know. He actually doesn't do it himself.
No, he takes
he goes through this gynecologist.
Yes, gynecologist.
So he asks the gynecologist to find out if
that tells me that he's paranoid. Okay. He has a problem with himself that he's trying to transfer to that child. Now, if you check and the hymen is broken and she's lost it, what happens? Would you stop loving her at that point? So why are you going ahead to do those kinds of checks? There's an adage in my place that says, "Obuma." That means that, these killers don't allow anybody who's passing their back with a pen knife or anything. Okay. They are very careful. They are always checking because they know what they have done. He has to check himself. And it may seem like it's okay right now. I'm trying to protect my child, but along the line, it will be traumatizing for that child to know that at some point in my life, my father kept, taking me to a place to check, to ensure that what is the essence of it.
You don't know the relationship he has with
Which
his daughter.
relationship? He's not okay.
Where they are so close. But
Which
you know what?
kind close?
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve more into this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, where were we?
Yeah, so we're discussing TI and the annual hymen check. So, TI had his daughter when he was 21. 21. And he's monitoring the virginity of his 18-year-old daughter.
Started at 16. They started at
So I think that at the end of the day, I feel that this conversation should be had. You should discuss with your daughter on why virginity is important. Because, like it or not, we are building soul ties through sex with many people that is not healthy for us long term. And many of these parents are shying away from this conversation of saying, keep your virginity, why should you do it, what's the benefit of it? So, but going to the way of going as far as doing a medical gynecological test to confirm shows lack of trust.
Yes.
I don't believe in that. If you trust in someone, you wouldn't be asking the person to go to, I will take your word for it. But I was telling a friend that the day my husband started saying, I want to talk, where are you? And I say, I'm in Ikeja. And he says, where in Ikeja? What are you doing there? Who are you with? When you start asking those questions,
that means something is
there is a problem. There's a breach in our trust. You take my word for it. And until I say or do something otherwise, we should have that. So parents should trust. I believe that parents should talk about virginity, trust their children, and if they make mistakes,
it's okay.
We'll come to that because I wanted to say that's where I was going to. But go ahead.
Can I just educate us? So
Educate us.
there's no test that a doctor can do to tell if you're a virgin.
Oh.
Or not, because virginity means different things to different people. But if you think someone may have done something to you sexually, so you can find out. So I've been given a little education on how the hymen is. So a lot of us think it's one large thing, film, yes, that covers it, and then you puncture it. No, it's actually on the side of the vagina, and it gets looser as you engage in sexual activities. So it's not that there's one, because it also has enough for you to have your period and other things. And that is why sometimes, even without being involved in intercourse, you could also break your hymen, which is like the horse riding and bicycle ride and things like that. So it really makes no sense. So it will be, why are you checking the hymen if the hymen can be lost
anyhow?
There are other ways. And for me, I just took this. I just wonder how that girl feels. I just feel the word is violated.
Yes.
Like, I cannot even imagine, because he said, there was a particular one, he said that immediately after her birthday, he puts a sticky note on her door to say, gynae appointment tomorrow. I mean, the reason why this is personal to me, see, trauma. I'm sorry I have to say this, and this happened in my family with me. An auntie whom I love dearly, but what she did was not right. She sat me down as a young teenager and said she was going to do a virginity test on me. And, in her own way, she loves me, she cares for me, and she just wants to make sure. And people that even know me, I'm sure, boys were never looking at me, in fact, to the point, I wasn't even thinking that way. But I remember, and then I was a sort of child growing up, which is, I was like the perfect child. I would never say anything to you. I did not like confrontation. Whatever you tell me to do, I would do. And then I had this auntie who sat me down and said, I was going to test you, and we're going to use an egg.
What?
I had never said anything rude to an adult, but I remember being so angry to her. I felt like she had taken my dignity. I was so rude to her. I could not even express myself. I'm like, how dare you? What makes you think? So in her mind, she thought I was guilty. It wasn't because I was guilty, but I just felt abused. Like, how do you sit down there and think you could do that?
Yes. Growing up, I hear that a lot.
So of course it did. Of course it didn't happen, but it was her own way of trying to keep me in check.
Okay, so let's bring this conversation to this issue of testing virginity.
Before we go there.
Okay.
Before we go there, hey, you can be a virgin and you are the sport.
I wanted to land that point.
You didn't go there, but every other thing you have done everything doable except intercourse, and in your mind you're still a virgin, sister.
Sorry for you.
Penetration. So I don't know. What are we saying? Are we saying keep the hymen intact? You can do anything, just don't break the hymen. What values are we putting into the children that we're raising?
That was the way I was actually taking the conversation to. Like, okay, let us define who defines what a virgin is. Because the truth is that a lot of young girls say, I'm a virgin, but the truth is that
they're not.
Let me give you a story. So when I was, I think we were writing a WAEC and JAMB, then I'd come to Lagos in Ogba. So I had this friend who the parents were pastors, and he's a pastor today, and he had a girlfriend. He was this born again, always preaching, don't have it. But then he had a girlfriend. So one day we were having a conversation. I was like, so what do you do when you are, because you're always together. When you're in that room, what do you do? Say, hey, we do every other thing. We kiss, we touch, we do round. I'm like, I don't understand. What do you mean by you do? I say, hey, we do round, but she's still a virgin. I've not done the main one. And I was like, and you now go to church on Sunday and lift up holy hands that you have used to go round. So children, even at that time, that was how many years ago? Kids right now are even more exposed. Hallelujah. This is 21st century. They know how to deceive you. And some people were saying, how are you sure that the guy now you are taking the girl to, he's not the one running the thing. So you just say, okay, it's time for you to come and check, and then he does what he has to do. They tell you a lie. Exactly. So it's gone beyond trying to overprotect our children. What are we protecting them from?
So what does a parent do?
Yes, so that's...
Because at this point, teenagers as young as 12, 13 are already losing their virginity.
Yes, they are.
Actually sexually active.
Yes.
So as a parent, how do you go about this conversation, in your own view?
So
I know we need experts at some point, but we'll have bring
parents too.
I don't understand. Listen, because viewers will tell you now that there's no experts, so I'm just saying them ahead of time. Yes, we'll bring in experts at some point, but it's nice to hear your thoughts on this first.
For me, it's conversation. I like that. I remember the sort of conversations I used to have with some friends who had conversations with their parents, because my mom didn't have some kind of conversations with me. She thought it was ex. But, some people will tell you how they have been told that their body is a temple. So for them, it was not even that, I don't want to do anything wrong. That I'm so fantastic. I am so perfect. I cannot allow anything, defile what I have. So I think we need to show our children that this is who you are. And it's not about the girl child alone.
Even the boy child.
Also the boy child, because we tend to do that. Even Tia was saying that his 15-year-old is sexually active and he didn't mind, but he was there protecting his 18-year-old daughter. So the thing is, we need to have the conversation. You are beautiful.
Okay, so
you are complete as you are. You can have relationships with a boy or a girl without having to go there.
Ma'am, you're right. So telling a child you're beautiful, value yourself.
Yes,
great.
value yourself.
But there's the other part, because I know somebody who had that conversation with her mother. And now what that conversation did for her is make her responsible. Though she was sexually active, but she was sexually responsible, such that she wasn't sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. She had that person she trusted and believed, and that was only that person. She was only, at the time in secondary school, no, not secondary school, university, she had just one partner at that time. Now, is that a responsible thing to do in your mind? Because today, we'll still say, don't even try it at all. But if a young lady says, it's only one person I'm doing it with, is that a responsible thing to do? Or is she saying that you shouldn't even start at all?
So the thing that God did for us, that most people won't do for you, is God did not take away our choices.
Okay.
We have our choices.
Right.
So as a parent, we should stop seeing ourselves like, Nami born this pikin. The pikin pass through you, come. The pikin is a soul on his own. He's a spirit man on his own. He's a full-grown, no matter how old the child is, a full-grown spirit that God has sent to you to guide. Our job is to guide. We cannot do more than guide. So for me as a parent, I will lay it out on the table. This is the way to go. This is the way I think you should go. This is the right way. This is the wrong way. What do you want? You have to choose for yourself.
Mommy, what way did you go? Is the question she will ask you. Monday, which choice did you take?
No,
Mommy, I want to do exactly what you did.
No. You can't do. You're not me. You can't do exactly what I did. I don't understand. I could have gotten.
You're shaking. Let me take this call. Let me take this call. Thanks for calling. Oh, I'm so sorry. I lost that call. Yeah.
So let me finish what I'm trying to say. So I will lay it out on the table. I'm not a parent who would tell you, don't do it like this. This is the right way. I will lay it out. These are the choices. This is because you value yourself. This is because you love yourself. This is because you have, and I would even start very early to start building in you that self-esteem to love. See, if you can successfully make your child have a healthy self-esteem to love themselves, they won't give it out anyhow. So you have done your work from that point.
So we've already discussed self-esteem, self-love. That part is done, and I think that Mariam, you're very right. But it doesn't sometimes not just directly. You don't just. My mom did not sit me down and say the reason you should keep your virginity is because you should love yourself. What she just did was make me have a great dream of who I'll be in future and not allow anybody mess me up along the way.
Yeah,
so that was her game, and to a large extent, I'll say it worked. However, bringing it back to what are we trying to achieve when we say keep your virginity? What are we trying to achieve? What's the society trying to achieve in that? This is a way of protecting yourself. This is a woman is defiled if she's had sex before, but a man is experimenting, and that is wrong. So we must holistically look at this thing so that we don't make a woman who has genuinely fallen in love with someone and your hormones range and you do something, feel like she's defiled and she's less of a girl, less of a woman because she's had sex before she got married. So there must be room for reconciliation. There must be room for bringing the person back. Those conversations can be had. But we were young ones and we knew that we shouldn't have sex, but we had hormones and we wanted to kiss.
I'll come to that.
Yes. How do we deal with that?
Good morning, are you there? Hello? Lauren, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, I am. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
It's so appalling that IT monitoring his daughter. The Yoruba people used to say that
What does that mean?
I see IT acting unfair. I see IT acting unfair. Why do you need to monitor your daughter? That shows that in time past, you had at one time or the other acted such.
Yes.
You disbanded a lot of people.
Yes.
And now you don't want your daughter to be disbanded. You started monitoring her. About a few minutes ago, my wife asked me, because I have a daughter now, my wife asked me, can I do that? And I said, it depends. It depends in terms of if I see my daughter walking in unholy places or doing something unholy, I can monitor her. But if my daughter is not walking in that line, why should I monitor her? I just need to counsel her and encourage her. I don't need to take her to the medical home, tell them to start monitoring my daughter's virginity or thereabout.
Thank you very much, Larry Waju. You know, talking about having that conversation, you know, I remember my conversation. I think, as much as I know I've not told my mother this, but I think that conversation affected me, even till today in marriage. Because what my mother did was, I think when I was 13, I had my first period. So it was April 1st. I'll never forget that day. It was my stepmother's birthday. So we got back home from Isola in Bagada, and I saw this red stuff, and I went to my mom, mommy. She said, she now called my aunt, Mrs. Adeshokon, which is the next door neighbor. She called the people that she knew that I respected. They all came together and they had a conversation. You know what they told me? They created fear.
You knew.
They said, those things men have. He's like this, oh. He's like this, oh. My mother, I can remember her hand. Her mother was like, he was like this. Don't let it come near you. So that fear.
I'm so sorry.
Like all my life, I was scared of that
instrument.
Of that instrument. I mean, even even till point of marriage, there was that fear, like, oh my God, you ain't getting inside. This ain't happening. You know, like it took a long time to overcome that fear. Like this is actually normal. So having that conversation,
How is so important.
So boosting the child's confidence. not creating the fear. But if you see it, run. Why?
No, you know, Tokwe said something.
Sorry.
Okay.
Talking about conversations, when I started secondary school, we had a conversation about sex in school. So I came home with it, and I was saying to my mom, "Oh, we had this conversation about sex. This among classmates and seniors." I kept repeating it, hoping my mom would engage me. The next thing she said, "Will you shut up? Is that why I sent you to school?" So I knew that I could not discuss sexual activity with my mother. So I had to learn it from. So a lot of things, like you, a lot of things are,
not a good one, but you.
No, a lot of things. So it's not like my mom did not talk about sex at all. So she would say, "Don't do it. If you do it, you know." But to have that conversation of sexual activity, we have, as you said, we are sexual beings. We have hormones. We're growing.
I wanted to
our bodies.
But it wasn't an advantage, because I've had when I was in relationship in the past. While in the relationship, the time when you're with the guy and the hormones are raging, your friend, I get scared.
You freeze.
I freeze.
Yeah. So for me, that was, whether we like it or not, it was abuse.
Yeah.
You know.
Somehow.
So I had been emotionally damaged.
Let me
in that
take
place
this
until
call.
until you worked it out. And I'm just saying that, so many of our parents have made that mistake. So for our own generation,
we need to learn
because we're learning from their mistake. I will have conversations with my daughter more holistically, more open.
Before
and I would start.
Hello, are you there? Thanks for calling. Good morning. Go ahead. I can't hear you, sir. Go ahead. Mr. Jide, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Most parents overprotect their daughters. Because one of my uncles did that, and the children, people are kind of person that they enter the verse and they continue. You understand? So what I feel is that parents shouldn't be too protective about their children, both male and female.
All right. Thank you very much.
So I think the first thing we should stop doing is shaming sex. The society has so much
demonizing.
Yes, shamed sex so much that when a child brings it up, and you shut that child down. Okay, I can't have like she just said, I can't have this conversation. Nobody told us that hormones will rage. I remember growing up as a young girl. I watch TV, I'll say, "Fine boy, I'm crushing, I am melting, I am dying." Nobody told me how to handle those. So if we start with our children now that we are becoming aware on how to make the conversations better and talk to them that it's okay to like somebody. It's okay to fall in love or in crush or whatever you're falling. But then you should know your boundaries and know if you're ready to take it a step further, because every action has a consequence. You know, if you go this way and Bele results, we're still paying your school fee. Do you think we want, you know? So make it easy for the child to come to. I remember, I think that was last year, my daughter came home from school one day. I said, "Mommy, a boy in my class told me he loves me.
Wow.
And that I'm beautiful."
Wow.
And I was like, "You're beautiful. Your daddy tells you every time." Is he new? I said, "No, I told him I know. My daddy tells me every time." That alone has made her not feel, this is the first time somebody's telling me they love me, and just give up everything.
So let's go to break. When we come back, we'll take one talk. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Still on this conversation on virginity. Takwe, you can say something.
So I realize that the Bible already gives us this information, but not in that direct way concerning sex. It's about everything. So one is flee every appearance of evil, and really that's your hormones would work. I'm a touch person, so for many years I don't hug anybody. And it's not because it's not conscious. It's just that I know that if we touch, I'll be vulnerable, and I don't want to be vulnerable with anyone. So and it's not happening more in church. They'll not say brotherly hug. Every time I'm in they just put their hand over your shoulder. I just be like this, because I can't say don't, but I'll just do like this.
Protect yourself.
And it's do not. I want to quote it, Psalms 1 verse 1 to 3. He's saying, "Don't walk in the counsel of the ungodly. Don't stand in the path of sinners. Don't sit in the seat of the scornful." If you watch who you stand with, who you walk with, and who you listen to, you would guide yourself from all these things at the end of
As
the
a
day.
teenager.
As a teenager. And as parents, our responsibility is to help our children cite good values and associate with such.
But a young person will tell you that those kind of people are not fun to be with. They are
Because we have
boring.
pricked them.
They are boring. But let me take this call from Daniel. Daniel, are you there?
I'm here. Good
Thanks
morning.
for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this issue you are debating on is a very interesting issue. I really appreciate it. Okay. But where the issue comes from, to my own experience from church, I realized this thing happened from the ages of year 99, 2000 children from this present age now. And what makes it happen is circumcision, from my own point of view and what I experienced. These days, when I carry children in church, the way they kind of scratch in their vagina and some, I have to ask the nurse. She now said, what happened is that their private parts always scratch them and it makes them to be sexually sensitive. This woman enlightened me when it comes to area of circumcision. I even asked her, why are they not doing it? She now said, because gave me some other thing, and she was even the one. Now let me realize that it was from the hospital that they said this thing should not be doing anymore. So anyway,
thank you very much, Dio.
So he's saying that because the kids are not circumcised anymore, the girls are not circumcised anymore, they are more.
That's wrong.
And when I think he's a driver or something, so when he carries them in the buses, they are mostly touching their privates. So, but that is totally wrong.
The nurse that gave you that information is wrong.
That's totally wrong.
At the end of the day, we must.
Well, I need us to correct Mr. Dio.
Yeah.
Circumcision is wrong.
It's wrong.
Right. We all agree. Circumcision is. Some communities still do it, but because when you circumcise a woman, a young lady, you deaden those hormones that allow her to enjoy sex at the time she needs it.
So because they're trying to prevent sexual abuse, they now deaden it, and that's what they're saying, that they should continue doing it.
No. What they're trying to avoid is promiscuity. Right? So the thing is, the way I think Africans handle things like that is, instead of what we're talking about now, which is having the conversation.
The right conversation.
Whether you like it or not, we're all sexual beings. We would start at one point or other, your child will start to manifest those feelings. Yeah. You need to tell your child this is normal. This is... how to control it. I know that there's a stage where children are growing, when they're quite young, they start to recognize their private parts, and then they are touching it.
Right.
Most African parents are slapping, and the child is confused because this is a child that did not have prior knowledge. I'm just feeling. Right. So we too need to understand that it is okay for your child to have these feelings and come to talk to you about it. When you kill the thing that is supposed to give the child pleasure and she moves into a marital home, then you now start having marital problems, and then they're coming back to you and you're wondering, why are you not doing this? Because you have killed it in the beginning.
Even back in the days, the circumcision did not work anything because we still had great-grandparents who had different children from different men while they were circumcised. So that's beside the point. Okay. But
Go ahead.
I would say that the world is changing, and it's very important as parents, we have to be up to date. We need to follow up. When I see some parents who, till now, they don't know how to use technology, and I'm like, hey, these people's children, we sell them in the house. Things will be happening under your nose. You cannot monitor. You need to be on Facebook as a parent. You need to be on Twitter. You need to be on Instagram. As a parent, you need to be on Twitter. You need to be on Instagram. They enter different accounts with different false names. A child in your house is answering Miss Kinsey there, and you don't know what's happening. Yes, it happened in my house.
Obina, are you there? Thanks for calling. Miss Kinsey.
Yes, ma'am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, well, now I want to start with the CI issue on his daughter. I want us to understand one fact, that CI is a gangster. And then being a gangster, number one, it doesn't mean that you should do some bad things. But, you see all these rappers in America, they are trying to correct so many things about their history, about their image and everything. Not only his daughter, but he takes his kid, the boy. Sometimes he will take the boy to his grandma, that he should take some lessons there and then come back home. He disciplines his children, both women, the girls and the boys. So he's just trying to correct so many things that they grew up with. And, in taking his daughter's fertility, year in, year out, just to ensure that, okay, the kind of environment that they live in, so the daughter doesn't get spoiled. The way other girls grew up with him,
Please, Obinna, in between the years, what happens in between? When you take her for annual tests, what happens in between? Does the place cover up and close up and then opens up only on her birthdays? Because it makes no sense. As a way to even check it and protect your daughter, that's not the way to do it. That means you have to look for something that you can check daily.
No, that is not it. When he checks it every year, you know, okay, what you have done within 1 year. If you have broken it, you have broken your virginity, well, the story will change. And say, okay, I've been guiding you because you don't need it. There's nothing stops you from keeping yourself as an African lady.
Okay, so thank you very much. So, let's move.
Why do we do this to our women? Why are we doing this?
The men.
So what will happen to the boy? I have 3 boys. Why are we creating double standard so a woman can keep her virginity and a man can do whatever he wants to do?
Who is that boy doing it with? Whose daughter?
From the tweets, Murayo, almost every man has a defense for why
this.
Tia is doing it. Yeah. From their own opinion, he's protecting his daughter. He's protecting. That is not protection. That's violation of our privacy. That's violation of our body. I never had anybody look down there until I was giving birth. You know, like, what are we doing? Why would you ask a woman, for you to do that, you have to open yourself up. Ask a child to do that. It is wrong it is very wrong.
It's traumatizing.
For any man or woman to try to
subject
test
a child
the child's virginity.
That kind of
it is wrong. And if you are a child and your father and mother is asking you that they want to check your virginity, tell them that it's wrong. Have that conversation with them. It is wrong. It is very wrong.
So going to the part of, and so we've talked about different angles of this, and I'd like us to, as we're wrapping up right now. So a young girl, parents find that her daughter or his son is sexually active. Now, what do we do? At the point where you now find that, okay, it is broken. The diamond has broken.
We're afraid.
Well, I know you've not been through this phase yet.
No.
So you're not going to be qualified for this conversation. But with your wealth of experience on this show, and speaking to a lot of people, what do you think a parent should do? But later, as I said, we'll still bring in proper experts at some point to help us thrash this issue properly. But in your own view, a daughter is sexually active. She or your son is already going around sleeping with house helps. Growing up, I shouldn't say this. Let me not say this. Go ahead.
We need to start talking about safe sex then. Although it would have been a conversation I'll be having with you, even as a virgin, you know, that you're not sexually active. But then I'll have to be, oh Lord God. I may have to be involved in making sure that you're having safe sex. I have to ensure that you have condoms in. Oh Lord, no.
We don't like to think about it.
We must have that conversation. Yes. We must, because I was talking about girls. If a girl has gone to the point where she allows herself to get into it, then don't
hate her.
Don't hate. Don't squeeze up your face. Don't judge. Have that conversation. So how was it? I know that it will be tough. But ask.
You ask your daughter.
I would ask my son. How was it? How was it? Because listen, if you can discuss it, it might have been painful.
How old are we asking?
All of us are not virgin. The first experience is always painful. Have that conversation. Because you can now use that one to say, oh, was it painful? So what did you do? How was the experience? How did it feel after? What did he do when it happened? Have that if you want to be open to you, you must have that conversation. So what did you guys use?
She's right.
When you can have that conversation, your child begins to relax and say, oh, it's not that bad. And then you can understand the areas with which you can get the information that you
don't find a way to nip it in the bud.
Yes.
It might not happen again.
You cannot have that conversation with he or she, because really, in my own case, it's boys. When they cannot tell you, oh, mom, did you see that girl? Did you see the way she looks? You must, your child must be able to freely discuss those things with you. If you have an 18-year-old child who is not telling you about a girl or the shape of somebody's everything, then you are having a problem.
I had this conversation with my 7-year-old daughter. I mean, she really liked somebody, one of our friend's sons. She used to go to his class. After doing that break, she'd go to his class, they'd be talking. And I never knew. She never told me. How did I find out? I don't even know. Something happened that I can't remember how I found out. But now ask about this person. I hear you go to this person's class. Why? Say he's my friend. Why do you like hanging out with him? he helps me with my work. Okay, what exactly does he do? So we started having this conversation, like, what is it about this boy? I always go to his class. So she really had this crush, and I had, because, so every time she comes from school, I said, so how is XYZ? He's fine. Did you see him today? No, I did not.
Did you wish you did?
Eventually,
are we supposed to have that conversation to continue?
No, because now that she knows that it's not a secret, I'm not holding it away.
Tell you anything.
She opens up to me.
So
it's not more I'm not telling my mom about it. My mom knows and asks about it. She's not a big deal.
When it's a secret, but when it's out to the open, you're like, oh no,
that's why you must have that conversation with your child, that there's no secret around it, because the secret love is sweeter. When it's open, there's nothing. So if you can tell your mom that, oh, we something happened yesterday, we didn't do anything, we just touched. I'm like, okay, so is it that you wanted to or you didn't want to? Also, see, they are having these conversations with their friends.
Yes, every day.
So you might as well when you get into that teenage zone, don't bother being, I'm a mom and all of that.
Aside from that, I will now come to the point of, so you have started. It's fine. No? You know now that we are now almost on the same level. Are you ready to start paying some bills in the house? Do you know, we have to put it on the table. No.
Getting pregnant.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's the consequences now. So you know now that you've started. If anything happens and you get pregnant, do you have the money? Do you want to drop out of school? Just paint all those pictures. Not in a very, you're not shouting, you're not, but painting a hair. Do you want to drop out of school? So you have to take care of the baby. You have to, and then she'll sit down and think about it. Do I want to drop out of school? I have a dream to be so and so person. I'm doing well in my, on their own. They will decide how to go. But it's just, I'm still feeling the fear.
I just remember this very quick story on Oprah. So these two teenagers, a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old, said that they were in love with each other. And so Oprah brought them on the show. I'm like, oh, you're in love with each other. For how long is this love going to be? Both of them said, forever and forever. So they asked the girl, what is forever? She was like, like 20 years. They asked the boy, what is forever? I said, like 3 months. The girl now heard with her ears that this love you think is forever, it's just 3 months. So it's good to have that conversation.
On that note, I think we can round up on that. But generally, sex is real. Testing your daughter or your son is a violation of their private lives, their private parts. And I think that we shouldn't have, but we should actually communicate and let our kids know the consequences of their actions and build their confidence also in who they are, so they know and they value themselves such that they take that independent decision of, do I want to do it or do I not? And if they do it,
very aware of the consequences.
If they do it, love them regardless and let them understand the consequences. I think we've wrapped up.
Yes, we did a good job.
Have a fabulous sexual week.
See you Monday.